Welcome back, everyone, to Money Vikings Collectibles. Thank you very much for joining me and hanging out with me right now. I've got a special quick take. Wanted to give you my thoughts on Flesh and Blood's first Collectors Week. Very interesting articles and very interesting information that came out. As many of you know, Money Vikings we have a collectibles channel, but games are also part of our broader concept of true wealth, which is about connections and relationships with friends and family. And I have really awesome memories, like many of you, of connecting with people over art and collectibles and games such as Magic and Dungeons and Dragons. A lot of my collecting started with these little guys right here, these Garbage Pail Kids that captured my imagination when I was about 10. And I pretty much became a collector from that point forward. Collecting everything from comics to cards. And in the last few years, Flesh and Blood cards. I just never lost the passion for it. And it really is a passion. And, I'm not sure psychologically why we do it. Maybe it's the rush of the chase of finding a card or finding something that's just beautiful to your eyes and something that we place value on in terms of scarcity. And that's one of the most interesting things that came out of this Collectors Week is the scarcity of some of the initial collectible items and boxes. And I'll talk about that in a minute. So if you want to check this out, you'd go to fabtcg.com. They have a Collectors Week icon here that you can click on. And it starts right away with the print run update. So this was, and in a minute I'll also share my favorite cards. So this was actually shocking to me, and I'll show you what was shocking. It's right here. If you have an alpha box of Welcome to Rathe, there were 16,700 made. That is so low. And it all goes back, as you know, as many of you know, many people that watch Money Vikings and look at our blog, truewealth.moneyvikings.com, you're pretty savvy investors. It's all about supply and demand. So something has value if there's demand for it, number one, and it has higher value if there is a low supply. And everything in economics behaves in this way. Everything from stocks to real estate, for example. In many areas, the reason that housing and real estate is so expensive is because there just isn't enough of it. There's a huge amount of demand, and there's just not a lot of supply. So let's get back to Welcome to Rathe. So there were 16,700 boxes made. I'm sure that most of those were opened. So it would be hard to imagine how many boxes are left. And I think that's why at the moment we're seeing these boxes, and I'll show you one right here. We're seeing these boxes skyrocket in value. So there's one right there. And at the moment, and you can tell it's alpha. It says alpha on the top there, right there. You see that? It says alpha. Okay. So these things are skyrocketing in value at the moment, and I can see why. The game's growing, the game is popular, the game has a bright future, and it has a bright future as a collectible and as a game. And I'm very excited to see how it evolves. I got drawn to collecting because of the art. I am an amateur artist, and the art always intrigued me. I wanted to study it, I wanted to emulate it, I wanted to be inspired by it. And who doesn't want to collect beautiful things? It's just a fun thing. Some of these cards are absolutely amazing. Some of these cold foils, absolutely amazing. Tiger Stripe Shuko. There's a classic right there. We have some of our dragons. I'm always into dragons. Some cold foil Marvel dragons. And more dragons from Uprising, which were pretty darn awesome. Okay, those are some of my favorites. But anyway, if you are able to find these Welcome to Rathe or Arcane Rising or Crucible of War boxes in the alpha, there were just not many made, as you can see. 37,500 Crucible, 16,700 Arcane Rising. and 16,700 Welcome to Wraith. Out of print. Okay, right there. So there's a lot to explore here. Collect what you love. I really enjoyed their commentary here. They talk about why do we collect. I thought this was really neat. Psychologists have theorized that anything from genetics, the dopamine chase of finding a special and unique item, desire for status or community, connection to the past, or a variety of other influences, or a combination of the foregoing could be the cause of humans' desire to collect, and collect we have. Yeah. I find collecting fascinating. Since the dawn of time, humans have been collecting art, stamps, stuffed animals, TCGs, and pretty much anything else. Collectors have been the subject of countless movies and books, sometimes as the good guys, and sometimes as the type of person who wants a set of colored crystals to put in a really big glove. Okay, Infinity Gauntlet reference there, pretty cool. What makes Fab special? In brief, beauty and scarcity. I agree. There's scarcity to some of these things, especially legendary cards and Marvels, and especially those early sets. And it does say the art of Flesh and Blood is breathtaking in its scope and execution. I believe that absolutely is true. It's one of the reasons I'm very excited about Sorcery Contested Realms. I'm very excited to see the quality of those cards and the artwork. Sage advice for a budding collector: know the value of what you're buying, understand the scarcity and importance, and if something looks too good to be true, and almost always is, I like that there's a word of caution here. And I feel like, I've always tried to say that. Number one, my number one rule of collecting is you collect what you enjoy and love, no matter what the price, the price. It's a different kind of investment and it's a risky one. So let's be honest with each other. But it can also be enjoyable, and these things can go up in value. There's no doubt in my mind at this point that the Welcome to Wraith boxes are going to go up a lot in value over the years. Take care of your collection. It's something I talk about a lot. I've done a couple videos about that on terms of comics, cards, etc. It's all about the condition of the collectible. Cards that are mint, or even packs that are unopened can be quite valuable. I got some, recently opened an Ancient Copper Dragon. Got that guy sleeved pretty quickly, one I like. And of course I've got some, they're not mint, but I've got some Garbage Pail Kids. So just showing you that I am definitely into collecting for sure. So, hey, check out this site. I like to keep these videos brief. Here's various ways, examples of high grade cards. I've not done a lot of grading cards. I've graded comics, but I have not graded cards. So that's something that I might do in the future. We'll see. Depends on how things go. But anyhow, check it out, and I will talk with y'all later. There's some really fun articles here. I think it's a nice celebration of what all of us love, collecting beautiful things and trading them, enjoying them, supporting our hobby. And I've always found a way to make some money and enjoy the hobby along the way. So I hope you do as well. Best wishes out there, and thanks again for watching. Take care.